Mrs. H. She's gorgeous. She's one lady who knows how to take care of herself. By the way, my name is Max. I take care of both of them, which ain't easy. Because when they met, it was murder.
Remember that, Dan?
Kind of, yeah, I do. Well, this year marks the 45th anniversary of the hit series Heart to Heart, starring Stephanie Powers and Robert Wagner. Powers has had a huge career in television, film, and theater, and was recently honored at the United Nations for her environmental work.
Stephanie Powers joins us now. Stephanie, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
My goodness, you look fantastic. I cannot believe it has been 45 years. I remember watching that show. Talk about your memories of that show.
Well, I can't believe it's been 45 years either, but it has. Time just flies for all of us.
Do you still keep in touch with Robert Wagner?
Yes, absolutely. He's a good friend. He's always been a good friend, and he's in great shape. In February, we will be celebrating that was his 94th birthday.
Wow.
In February, we'll be celebrating his 95th.
Oh, what do you have planned for his 95th birthday?
Well, he has a wife, so she takes precedence, his plan.
Yeah.
But I think we're all going to join up in Palm Springs somewhere.
Well, talk about, you've been so instrumental in working with the William Holden Wildlife Foundation and...
well, I'm the founder.
Yes, so talk about...
founder and president of the William Holden Wildlife Foundation.
Talk about how that started and what you've been doing with it.
There's a book, actually, that I wrote a long time ago that states everything, states the whole history of the foundation, states the whole history of Bill. Oh, great. Look at that. You've got some lovely footage. That's capturing reticulated giraffe, which are only found on the Laikipia Plateau, which is very near the game ranch, which Bill started in 1959
Wow.
for the preservation of species, if you can believe it. Nobody had the word conservation in their vocabulary when he was such a visionary that he realized they needed protection and they needed to be, it needed to be done immediately.
So are they, in this video we're watching, are they relocating the giraffe?
They were, yes. They were capturing them off of this area where they were in danger of being poached. There was a time when people thought, some people around the world, I think mostly in Russia, they thought that the skin of the giraffe would look better on their floor than on the animal. And so there was a price, a hefty price that would be paid to people that were virtually starving, who thought that they could make some money, and they would kill these giraffes, these beautiful animals who are so gentle and so beautiful. In any event, I was, when Bill and I met, I was already a confirmed animal person. My stepfather bred racehorses. I grew up with all kinds of exotic animals that he adopted and rescued from defunct circuses and zoos, and then I rescued a Malaysian sun bear from a pet shop in West Hollywood.
Wait a minute, hold on there. There was a bear in a pet shop in West Hollywood at one point?
Yes, there was this tiny 8-week-old Malaysian sun bear that was in a cage in the middle of the floor.
Wow.
And I went crazy. And the man said, well, if you feel so passionate about this, why don't you buy him? And I said, right, I will.
Wow.
And what did you do with the bear?
Well, I lived in Malibu, and we were up in the mountains. We had almost 6 acres with lots of trees, and Eugene was his name. And Eugene used to love to climb the trees, and the only way I could get him down was with a jar of peanut butter.
Oh, wow. Wait, so tell us how you were recognized by the United Nations. How did that happen?
Well, the United Nations was the venue, and it was sponsored by, the luncheon was sponsored by the the mission from Monaco to the UN. And I was with a group of 25 people who were being honored for the work that they had done and highlighted the work, all of us in various fields. I think I was the only one that was in the environmental field, in wildlife conservation, and alternatives to habitat destruction, which is our mission statement. We had a lovely luncheon, and that honor is being personified in an ebook, which is available on the internet for free, in the hopes that some of these stories of some of the work around the world will inspire others to not only do the same, but to perhaps join our... I have 5 dogs.
I was just going to say, I mean, there's got to, yeah. I was going to say, as someone who loves animals, you know there's got to be a couple.
I'm determined to help rescue. You know, we have in our kill shelters, the city kill shelters, euthanasia is up 30%. And whenever we can, I had a little extra room because I had already adopted 4 dogs.
Oh my.
And
Well, you are...
I have...
Yeah, you're walking the walk and doing some amazing work. Stephanie Powers, it is such a pleasure to talk with you. Come visit us in Chicago. We'd love to meet you in person.
It's very cold there.
Yeah,
it's a
it's
great
not
city.
great now.
Come visit me in Kenya. It's warmer.
Yes,
there's
indeed.
another
There's
idea.
all the information online. And happy anniversary, 45 years ago for Heart to Heart. You look great. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Stay warm.